Hi everyone, I'm Swati. I welcome you all to Sampark, a digital initiative by Phenom Placement. In this program, we do video interactions with professionals to share their views and opinions. Today, we have with us Mr. Nitesh Sureka, who is a chartered accountant and have been a part of Big Fours for above 7 years. He has also been a panelist for conducting interviews at Big Fours. He currently advises CA firms and corporates on how to conduct and manage efficient audits as per the global standards. He is also a founder of Ensure.growth, which is a strategy and business management firm working towards transforming clients' business and improving performance. He is also passionate about mentoring and training individuals. This is what brings him to Phenom Placement.
Thank you so much, Swati, for having me here. I'm really delighted to be part of this campaign, which is helping young CAs to have some clarity about their career. It's great to be here. Yeah.
So Nitesh, I begin this conversation with my first question. How to choose a best industry to start your career? Banking, FMCG, investment bank or pharma?
So, Swati, I don't think so that there is anything called the best industry, that this is the best industry to work in. I think what is very important is that a candidate should understand what is his interest area, right? So, I see a lot of people going for maybe investment banking or management consulting or auditing or taxation. Why? Because their friends are also going into that, and there is one more reason, that I don't know what to do. So this is not the right way to select an industry or a company that you are willing to devote your the coming 5 years or 2 years or 3 years or whatever time, right? So I think they should first understand what is their interest area and then look for companies to work on. And how could you do that? I think if you could follow 2 simple steps. One, write it in a piece of paper that 1, 2, 3, 4. These 4 areas or companies I want to work on. Okay? You could write why as well. That will also help you, give you some more clarity. Then do some research about that company. What are the services that they are offering, right? What are the products that they are building? Okay. Second, and the most important, look for people who are already working in that company or in that service line and talk to them, right? And how could you talk to them? LinkedIn. I think LinkedIn is a great platform where you could connect to professionals who are already working in that area. Why you should do this is because understanding from people who are actually doing this will give you a lot of clarity. You could ask them a few questions which is haunting you, right? And trust me, if you write to 10 people, I'm very sure that 3 will respond to you. Okay, and talk to at least 3 people. Okay, so that you have more clarity about what you do. So when you do these 2 steps, after that you will have, I can't guarantee that you'll have complete clarity, but I'm very sure you'll be in a better position than what you started initially, and it will give you a lot of clarity. So I think, so Swati, this is what I was mentioning, is having a candidate should know what is his interest area and not go for any best industry or good industry or bad industry. Understand what you really like doing. That is most important.
So moving forward to the next question, share some tips on drafting a CV of a fresher.
My advice regarding CV preparation is very simple, and is to keep it really simple, and try to restrict your CV in a page. Why? Because see, I think majority of the recruiters understand that since you are a fresher, there is nothing very substantial to add in your CV. So it should not take more than a page to write all your achievements or hobbies or your education, blah blah blah, in your CV. So ideally it should be a one pager. However, there is one thing that you should be really careful about, which I have personally seen a lot of people making this mistake. They tend to put a lot of fancy words in their CVs, right? For example, I have done risk-based audit, or I have done international taxation, and they write hobbies which they actually don't really do, right? So for example, if there are a lot of people who write about reading books, and whenever I see that, I ask them what books you read, and trust me, 70% of the time they come up with saying that I read newspapers, or means they don't really know, they don't have really read a lot of books. Okay, it's just maybe a book that they've read, and they're saying that, I like reading books, which is a spoiler. Okay, which is a spoiler for a recruiter. So my advice is that if you are writing something on your CV, you should be really confident about that particular topic, and if somebody asks you, you should just start talking about it. So I think this is something that every individual appearing in an interview should be really conscious about. Yes.
So my next question from you is, in which most candidates have doubts. I don't have a rank or an article shift from Big Four. Do I stand a chance for a good job at MNC?
I think, Swati, this is a question that I've been asked a lot of times, and my simple answer to this is that you have a CA degree, which is enough to get into any Big Four, to get into any MNC that you like. See, I don't deny the fact that an experience of articleship from Big Four will give you an upper hand, but that is not the only gateway to any MNC or a top-notch consulting firm. I have worked with a lot of people at Big Fours and from Fortune 500 companies, and I think there are a good amount of people working there who are from mid-sized firms. So please don't think that only Big Four articleship experience is required to get into MNC or a top-notch consulting firm. Swati, I'll give you a live example. I've done my articleship from a mid-sized firm from Calcutta, right? And I could easily get into a Big Four, and there are so many other colleagues of mine who have the same career path. So please don't think that if you don't have an articleship experience for Big Fours, you don't stand a chance to get into Big Fours or top-notch consulting firms or an MNC for that matter. You have a CA degree, that's more than enough.
So moving forward to the next question, what are the questions that you should never ask from an interviewer?
I think the question that a candidate should avoid asking is regarding compensation. Okay, I think you should never be the first person to ask about what will be my compensation, right? And especially when you are a fresher, because of two reasons. Okay, number one, at a Big Four or at a MNC, the compensation is already decided for freshers. So it does not really make any sense to go and negotiate there for the salary, right? It is, you do your own research and then understand what the salary is. If you like it, go for it. Otherwise, don't, because it's absolutely fixed. Number two, when they ask you what is that one question, if you have any questions you could please ask, then don't be in a hurry to ask about compensation. Okay, there are so many other things that you could ask them, which for example, how my profile is will be like, and how has been your experience working in this company, or ask something about company or relating to your profile, which is far better than asking about your compensation. So my piece of advice is that you should never ask about your compensation, especially when you are a fresher. That's not a good thing to initiate, actually. Okay.
So my next question from you is, I want to start my own practice after 3 years. How should I choose my career path?
Okay. So the person who is willing to start their own practice after 3 or 4 years, I think Big Four is a good option that they should evaluate. Okay, and why I say this is because in a Big Four they will be exposed to the global way of doing things, and which I think will come out really handy when they start their own practice. And plus, there are a lot of other aspects also which I think a person learns in a Big Four is dealing with complex issues, dealing with people of going and meeting CFOs of Fortune 500 companies, and understanding how the best in the business are working, right? And that's an invaluable experience that you can have when you work in a Big Four, right? So I think they should evaluate Big Four as an option. And however, I agree that there are some cons to this as well, because why I'm saying this is because if you want to start your own practice, then I'm sure that you would like to do auditing as well, and taxation, GST, ROC filing, everything, right? However, in a Big Four, you will be given a particular domain or a department which you have to work for at least a couple of years, right? And then a couple of years, which I think will not suit your purpose. However, I think how you can manage this is initially start with a Big Four, then jump. If you are confident, you can start your own practice. Simple. If you're not, then you could go to a mid-size firm. And when you're coming from a Big Four, majority of the mid-size firms will take you with open arms. So that will not be a problem. And then work there for another year, and then learn the holistic approach of consulting and practicing CA practice. Then I think you'll be in a great position to start your own practice. So I think this is something that I would like to suggest.
So my last question from you is, what is the one thing that you feel is most important that an employer evaluates in a candidate during a job interview?
So Swati, I could think of two things which are very important from the employer's point of view, which they evaluate in a candidate. I think number one is confidence, and the second part is a positive attitude. Okay, so when I talk about confidence, how does a recruiter evaluate whether a candidate is confident or not, right? So I think when a candidate has been able to communicate his ideas, his work experience, his hobbies in a very clear and concise manner, this displays that the candidate is confident and is clear with his thought process, right? Now, about the second element, which I think which is the most important, is a positive attitude. I think there will be a lot of questions from the HR or maybe from the technical guy, wherein they will try to evaluate a candidate on aspects like whether he's a right fit for their organization or not, whether he's a team player or not, whether he's willing to collaborate with others, whether he's optimistic about things or not. So these are the parameters on which they will evaluate his attitude, right? So I think these two things are very important from the employer's perspective, which they think is a must for every candidate, right? So now talking about how you could display that you are confident, and how you can display that you have a positive attitude, there are very few simple things that one candidate should do. I think first let's talk about confidence. Okay, confidence is something that comes from preparation. Okay, if you are prepared for your interview, you will naturally be very confident. When I talk about preparation, it means that whether you have researched about the company or not in which you are interviewing, whether you have gone through your CV and you are confident about whatever is there on your CV, whether you have brushed up your technical skills or not, whether you know what are the latest amendments that has happened in the recent times. So when you do all these things, you will naturally be very confident in front of the interviewer. Okay, so this is how you appear to be confident. Okay, now talking about the positive attitude, I think you have to tell them stories which displays that you are a team player, which displays that you are optimistic about things. So for example, if they ask you that is it a second, if for a candidate who's been appearing for the second, who passed on the second attempt or third attempt, you should not come out as a person who gives excuses that I was not because I was unwell. You should give some explanation which shows that whatever happens for the best, right? I was underprepared at that point of time, and the second attempt gave me an opportunity to go through the laws, the accounting theories, concept properly, which I think will help me in the future when I start my practice or maybe I go for a job. So these are the ways in which you could display that you are an optimistic person, you have a positive outlook. So I think if you have been able to communicate your ideas clearly, you're confident, and you've displayed that you are a positive person, then I think a candidate has a very good chance of cracking that interview.
Thank you so much, Mr. Nitesh, for being with us on this panel today. I really enjoyed our conversation and I hope our audiences will also benefit from your views and opinions. Good day.
Thank you, Swati. It was a pleasure being here. My best wishes to all the newly qualified chartered accountants. Go out, crack the interviews, and get what you want. Thank you so much.
If you have any questions or suggestions, please write us at the email ID and link given in the description. Do share, subscribe, and comment.